Hi, today we are going to be presenting our social media marketing plan for the Will County Habitat for Humanity. It's by me, Jada Hoffman, Tyler Spencer, Reese Taylor, and Henry Schluler. Next slide, please. So this is the first part of our executive summary. Will County Habitat for Humanity is basically a regional chapter that aims to create affordable housing for those in the Will County area. They are looking for volunteers in which they call the crew, and primarily they're seeking for those in retirement, but we do also recommend branching out to college students just because of all the college opportunities in the Will County area. Currently, they do have 4 social media platforms that we know of. They have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. However, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube are inactive. And kind of, as you can see in the collage here, we have a screenshot of the different platforms. On the top left is actually Yelp. Their page is currently unclaimed. In the middle, on the top and the bottom, they actually have YouTube pages. One is by their community outreach coordinator, who is Ellie Roth. And then on the bottom is for Restore Will County Habitat. And I'm not really sure which one they use because it's kind of confusing. If you have 2, you kind of just need one central YouTube account. So that's also something we recommend. And then just in general, we'll go through later why you need to use YouTube. And then also you can see their Twitter account, which is also inactive. The last post was from 2020. It's currently 2021. Same with Instagram. And then Facebook is the most active with this post actually being from 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. So yeah. Next slide, please. And then we'll kind of talk about our social media plan strategies. For the 4 zones, there's social community zone, which is what we're going to recommend you using Twitter. And then for social publishing zone, we're going to recommend that you use YouTube. For social entertainment zone, Instagram. And then for social commerce zone, we're going to recommend that you use. And again, later on, we'll go into more details of that. Next slide, please.
All right, so into the market description section. Habitat for Humanity, the Will County, is a part of the nonprofit industry within the United States. The Will County chapter is part of a larger global organization that operates in 50 US states and approximately 70 different countries. One of the major marketing trends for nonprofits in the United States has been the increased use of video content. More than ever, people are seeking authenticity and transparency from nonprofits. They want to see more human-centered content and things that feel more real and less processed. So live videos have seen better engagement overall. So Facebook Live, Instagram Live, things like that. Facebook users spend 3 times more time watching live videos than a video that's no longer live, and they also comment 10 times more during live videos. So there's definitely an increase in engagement and a desire from the audience to see more of that human-centered content from those nonprofits. The Will County Habitat for Humanity is primarily seeking to grow their team of recurring volunteers. These are typically retirement age individuals, and you can see the population by age there on the right-hand side for Will County. Within Will County, there's 90,000 people who are between 55 and 64, and then 58,000 who are between 65 and 74. So this would be right around the age group that they're trying to target for, specifically for the recurring volunteers.
So quite a lot of the company review has already been shared with the target audiences and the accounts they're present on. So some other information is that Habitat for Humanity helps families to build homes from scratch or improve their existing homes. They do this with the Restore to improve existing homes, where they sell secondhand or remade furniture and things for a much cheaper price. It was founded in 1976 originally, and so far has helped over 29 million people worldwide. They provide housing to people in need with affordable mortgages. If they're building them from scratch, those people will also partake in helping to build their own home. And also its primary communication is currently through its extensive website, as we've identified quite inactive on a lot of their social media sites. So their website is where there is a hub of information.
Okay, so now to go into the situational analysis section here, we'll start off with their social media presence. At the time of the writing here, there's about 2,860 followers and 2,742 likes on their Facebook page. This is their most active social media right now. You can see here in the middle and on the right-hand side are a couple of screenshots of some of their posts. Typically, they're posting things about their various events, information about their services, and thank you messages to sponsors and things like that. However, there is pretty low engagement on these posts, anywhere from 0 to 10 likes. Typically, there's few, if any, comments, and there's not very many shares. So with nearly 3,000 followers, they could be doing a little bit better as far as the engagement here. And something that I thought would be important to note is that there is a lot of text-heavy images on the Facebook page here. You can see with that middle one especially. I noticed when I'm scrolling through my phone that it can be quite difficult to read those images. You have to zoom in on it, and I know a lot of people probably aren't doing that. So there might be some ways that we could format the social media posts a little bit better so that there could be some more engagement. And then here is just an image of their Twitter page. You can see it's May 22nd, 2020 was the last tweet that was sent out. So this is just showing their Twitter and Instagram accounts. They do exist, but they have not been active. So there is some followers, a slight following on there, but the engagement on both of the Twitter and Instagram prior to them stopping posting was also fairly low. And so here's just some images of what the competitors are doing. We've highlighted the DuPage County Habitat for Humanity and the Chicagoland Habitat for Humanity as some major competitors. On the left-hand side, you can see the tweets from the DuPage Habitat. That Twitter account is very active. In the middle, you can see from Habitat Chicago, they have a picture there of some of their volunteers, and their caption discusses the volunteers specifically and tells a little bit about their story. And so that receives some good engagement. And then on the Facebook page there, or I'm sorry, on the far right side, there is another Instagram page, which they're posting videos for different things. Most of their posts over there are videos, and you can see this one, the first one there has 284 views. So that's they're doing fairly well with that. There's definitely room for improvement, but they're active on those sites and they're showing that there's potential there. So, and then just to go into the SWOT analysis here, just to highlight some of them, some of the strengths of the consistent posting on Facebook that they have already. They already have several established accounts on social media platforms. They just need to start them up again. The weaknesses are, the inactivity then on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. There is fairly low engagement on social media, so we have to try to figure out what we can do differently to try to drum up some engagement. And like I said, the text-heavy posts and kind of try to change our formatting a little bit. As far as opportunities, YouTube's a huge opportunity there to tell the story of the volunteers and link it to other platforms. That's really where I think we should be spending a lot of time expanding in the YouTube category and making video content, because that's what people are interested in now. As far as threats, there's indirect competitors, like we discussed earlier, the DuPage and Chicagoland. And I found that there can be a little bit of confusion and lack of understanding of the concepts of the Habitat for Humanity. I noticed a little bit just scrolling through social media that some people were kind of confused about what the organization actually does. So maybe we could, create some educational videos or something like that that could then be posted on the new YouTube page.
As Jada said before, the target audience we're kind of targeting at is the retired people, and mostly people who are just willing to work for free. Currently, there's 15 people in what they call the crew, which is like just the people that do the nonprofit work. We will use Facebook to really reach out to those retired people, because people who use Facebook are primarily older.
We can go to the next slide. As far as the social media marketing objectives, obviously, we want to help you all engage with your community to increase the crew. And by doing this, we believe you need to increase your activeness on current social media platforms. So the ones that you have, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, there's low activeness on it, and you just need to be more active on it. And then also your marketing objective would also be obviously increasing your followers and increasing your donors and volunteers. And again, we think you can do this through social media. So for the next slide, is the social media marketing experience strategy, and I'll be focusing on the social community zone here. The one that we believe you should use is Twitter. With Twitter, you're able to create relationships with your consumers. You're also able to utilize hashtags so that people can easily identify who you are, which is the Will County Habitat for Humanity. And some hashtags that we came up with is hashtag Restore Will County and hashtag Habitat for Humanity, as you see below. And then for the next slide, social publishing zone, we believe that you should use YouTube. We've kind of said this a few times already, but YouTube you'll be able to give people a visual guide of how houses are actually built. You'll be able to create testimonials of how homes have changed lives, create volunteer testimonials so that we can meet the crew and just see how volunteering has changed their lives and why they enjoyed and why they picked the Will County Habitat for Humanity compared to another organization. You're also able to establish great relationships with your current volunteers, as they'll feel appreciated that you're actually documenting their life and featuring them in different types of clips and stuff. And then it also invites your community into your big happy family. To the next slide. The social entertainment zone, we believe that you should use Instagram, just because you're able to have an outreach to your younger crowd of potential volunteers. Again, I believe that you should use Instagram and reach out to the younger crowd simply because of all the college opportunities you have out there. You have St. Francis University, you have JJC, which is Junior Joliet College, and then you have us, Lewis University. You're able to utilize Instagram features such as highlights, which basically as soon as you get to someone's page, you're able to click on the circles and it kind of gives you a highlight of everything that they've done for a certain theme. Your Reels are very similar to TikTok, so you're able to create a 30-second video just documenting. Usually people document them dancing or cooking, but for you, you can document yourself creating homes. And then you're able to utilize stories if you don't want to create an actual post that people can just touch at the top of their screen and just tap through. And then there's also the swipe feature that you're able to use when you create a post. You can put up to 10 pictures and you're able to just swipe and people can see those content pictures that way. And then you're also able to create short clips, as I mentioned, for your reels, but also for like your IGTVs or just posts in general, meet the crew, or even a message from the CEO, stuff like that. And then for the next slide, for a social commerce zone, we recommend that you use Yelp. With Yelp, this kind of encourages volunteers, donors, and those receiving homes to leave reviews. And we kind of did our research and noticed that you do have a Yelp account. However, it's not claimed. People are going to talk about you regardless. They're going to talk about you whether you're not there. So it's kind of important to go and claim that Yelp account just so you have an established account and that you're able to just gain an outside perspective of how people view your company. And you're able to adjust based on the reviews. So if people are telling you they dislike this, you're able to adjust that. If they're telling you they like this, you're able to keep it that way. And then this is also another way for you to engage with your community, because if they're leaving reviews, you're able to respond to them. You can go to the next slide.
Okay, so this is more of just like a summary of what Jada just talked about. So the social media marketing tools we use were the social commerce zone, which is Yelp, which they have not claimed yet. And this is a great way for employees and customers to leave reviews on their work they're doing. The social entertainment zone using Instagram, and this is just a great place to target the younger generations. The social community zone, which is Twitter, and this is just a great way to create relationships with the organization and the customers. The social publishing zone and YouTube, which is preferably the best way to reach out and get more help. And what they can do on this is just vlog building houses, and it's just a great way to show the work that they're doing as a nonprofit. And so these are just all great ways of promoting their organization all over social media to really draw the attention of mostly the retired people, but also the younger generation of college and high school students, and just show what they're doing in the communities. Next slide, please.
So now that we gave you all this information, obviously we need to tell you how you can actually implement this. So obviously to save money, you are an NPO, and just in general, we believe that you can use your current workers and tools to avoid having to spend unnecessary money. You can get interns, such as who we are. You can also hire volunteers, as they're not going to be paid. Ellie Roth, again, is your community outreach coordinator. So just giving her all this information and ensuring that she carries out this plan accordingly. For Twitter and Instagram, we recommend you using Hootsuite. Hootsuite allows you to publish like posts prior to the actual scheduled time. You also have to keep in mind the character limit for certain social media accounts. So like for Twitter, there's a 240 character limit. So obviously, kind of what Tyler was saying earlier, you can't be so text heavy based. You have to make sure you are limiting that and staying according to the Hootsuite rules. And then as far as Instagram, you're able to utilize reels, stories, and regular posts. And then with YouTube, film and edited content only. You shouldn't be just creating things that aren't of good quality. You are a good company. You need to make sure your name is being carried out accordingly. And we recommend you using a high cost page. Although YouTube is free, in order to have a good account and to have all these followers, you need to have good quality content. And you'll be able to see all of that in our plan as well. And then as far as Yelp, again, I've said this before, you need to claim your page or just create a new one and make sure that you respond to all reviews, the good and the bad. And then for the next slide. And the next slide, this is just a summary of the budget. If you do use Hootsuite, you can use 12 months, and the first 30 days are free. It'll be $49 per month, and that comes out to $539. If you use Yelp, they kind of just have like CPC and CPM, and there's just minimal services that'll only come out to $50. And then again, as I mentioned with YouTube, if you want a high cost page, you kind of need to have a camera, you need to have some type of editing software and stuff like that. The maximum amount of that would be about $750. And then also you just need to prepare for anything that may occur. Let's say an event happens and you want to create something for it at the last minute. So unforeseen cost, that would be about $500. And you can kind of see this pie chart here. YouTube will be the predominant one that you're going to be using the most, unforeseen cost, and Hootsuite kind of compete, and then Yelp is the lowest one. Twitter doesn't really cost much, so you're fine with that, unless you want to boost your account. And then you can go to the next slide. This is kind of like our 12-month plan. You're going to have to enlarge it. You'll be able to see it in the plan again, but it kind of just tells you what you can do from month 1 to month 12. I didn't want to give you all like January, February, March, because you can start this whenever you want, honestly. So I'll just say the first month, the 6th month, the 9th month, and then the 12th month. So in the first month, it's important to make sure you claim and activate your Yelp account, create content for Instagram and YouTube, and also make sure you create a first tweet back, because again, you guys have been inactive for over a year. So it's important to say, we're back, or this is what we've doing, or while we've been gone, or something like that. In month 6, we recommend that you start checking the status of your insights for all of social media, just to ensure that you are seeing some type of impact, trying to see if you've gained followers, if you've been gaining likes, if you've been seeing an increase of DMs and direct messages, stuff like that. In month 9, we recommend creating more visual content for Instagram and YouTube, just staying on top of that and not being lazy, because we do recommend you having 1 to 2 posts on YouTube per month, and then for Instagram, posting weekly with a theme for each day. And then on the last month, making sure you're kind of checking the success of the 12-month plan and using insights to see what to continue and what to stop. Then you can go to the next slide.
So the idea for the measurements is on Twitter. which is, we have the 4 identified platforms, Twitter being one of them. We would look at total hashtags, likes, and comments bi-weekly, and then the total new followers monthly. With YouTube, total subscribers monthly, the same way as the followers work on Twitter. Total views and likes after 48 hours and 2 weeks after posting, so then you can sort of get a rough idea of the traction that a video is getting. Next slide. With Instagram, it'll be the total likes for every 5th post, so then you can group the data, so we're avoiding any anomalies seen on the likes. And then also new monthly followers, again the same with Instagram and YouTube, Twitter and YouTube, sorry. And then finally with Yelp, the idea would be to look straight at bad reviews, react to bad reviews, comment on bad reviews, and then change that within the company or the non-profit. And then also Yelp, we would look at bad reviews immediately to respond to those and make sure we have the positive public relationship. And we would also look at all the reviews after a month, just to respond to all the good ones and get the rough idea of where we're sitting. The bad reviews mainly also because it will allow us to change any issues that people find within this organization. And then next slide.
So thank you so much for allowing us to create your social media plan. We had an amazing time doing so. And if you have any questions, you're always able to contact one of us via email, as we'll be happy to assist you in implementing this social media marketing plan. Thank you.